Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to discuss why the NBA could be rigged today. Now I've heard it all, from magnetic rims to the NBA players being actors. I'm not going to discuss those things, but the first thing that I will bring up is the 1985 draft lottery where the Knicks received the first pick. Notice how he puts in all the envelopes the same way except for one. For some reason he chooses to throw one envelope off the wall. By throwing it off the wall, he created a dent in the envelope. Watch David Stern's eyes and head slightly move while the ball is rotating. What he's doing is trying to track the one envelope that has the dent. I might be reading too into this, but David Stern looks awfully nervous here. You can clearly see a dent in the corner of this envelope. And if we could see it this clearly from a video in 1985, imagine how much easier it was for David Stern to spot it in real time. He then reaches under an envelope, flips it over, and grabs the one with a dent in it. It seems pretty suspicious to me.
The NBA lottery rigged.
I don't know who you are, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Nowadays, everything is done in secrecy. We don't even get to see the draft lottery. All we get to see is them opening a bunch of envelopes. And for some reason, we accept that this is who gets which pick.
You calling me a liar?
I ain't calling you a truther.
So the question now is, why even rig the draft? And it all boils down to money. The NBA was not this behemoth it is today. Some playoff games were not even on national television at the time. You see, at the time, Ewing was, and I quote, the most recognized athlete ever to enter a major professional league. And with the NBA's TV deal about to expire, they had to secure a new deal. The NBA realized they would benefit most from Ewing being in the league's biggest market in New York City. On a side note, people also need to realize that the Knicks did not have the fan base they had today. Before Ewing, Madison Square Garden was half empty on some nights. To help that point further, the Cavaliers won the draft in 2011 with a 19.9% chance when they got Kyrie Irving. Okay, nothing crazy yet. Then 2 years later, they win again with a 15.6% chance picking up Anthony Bennett. Now we're getting a little suspicious here. But it doesn't end there. The next year, the Cavaliers win the first pick again with a 1.7% chance, drafting Andrew Wiggins, who they would eventually trade. Let's not forget also 12 years back, they won the first pick with LeBron James. Total all that up together, that's a 0.012% chance to get all 4 picks in 12 years. Not even a 1% chance. Before I continue, give me a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more videos.
When you watch that, okay, they call the foul. I get it. Let's say foul's there. Technical foul, fine. Do you think a one-game suspension is granted for something like that, for Draymond? Like, why did they suspend him for a game in the finals?
I think it depends on who was up and down in the series. I think if Golden State would have been down in the series, there would have been no suspension. But, if they're up in the series, there's a suspension. Why? Because it takes a good player away off the floor and then allows for the series to go on a little bit further. It allows for Cleveland to win a game.
Now, there are obviously many games that may have seemed rigged because of the ridiculous lopsidedness of calls going towards one team. One of the biggest examples of that is the Kings-Lakers playoff series of 2002. Now, it wouldn't be hard to call a foul on any play. There are lots of plays that are very subjective. A charge could be a blocking foul. A simple bump could be a foul. But to sum up what I want to say about the series, I will throw out one statistic, and I want your comments below if you believe this game was rigged. In Game 6 of that series, the Lakers shot 40 free throws and the Kings shot 25 free throws. Okay, so the free throws are lopsided, but the Lakers did have an unstoppable force in Shaquille O'Neal, and that's one big guy that you gotta foul a lot. But 27 of the 40 free throws came in the fourth quarter, while the Kings only had 9 free throws in the fourth quarter. Do you believe this game was rigged? Leave your comments below.
They asked David Stern, what does the ideal finals look like? And he said Lakers versus the Lakers.
When he makes a comment that the best ratings would be the Lakers versus the Lakers, the referees see that. And the referees are paid based on advancement from the first round to the second round, the third round to the finals. And they know that you're being graded on certain things. So, Bevetta would say he was the NBA's go-to guy. He was put on Game 6s to make Game 7s. And,
he said that.
Said that several times. It was a situation where Portland should have won a series. The Lakers won because of a lot of the calls that he made. The famous Sacramento Game 6 where, things happen at the end of the game that just seem flat out backward.
And he's in front of him. And he's going to come. Oh, an elbow. Yes. An elbow right in the chops.
Could have been an offensive foul. A big break for the Lakers as Bibby took a shot from Bryant, who now will go to the line. He's 9 for 9 from the line. 11.8 remaining.
But what I find the worst about these situations is that let's say the officiating was rigged. Every time someone in the league, whether it's a player, coach, or even an owner, makes any kind of criticism about horrible officiating, they get slapped with fines. This in turn makes people scared to say anything about the referees, with fears of getting hit with large fines. This is a tactic the NBA is using to hide what is possibly a rigged league.
4 on the clock. Bazemore tried to defend him. No whistle and technical foul called on Budenholzer.
I did think LeBron used the off arm to push. He's standing up for his guys here.
He was all up in Brian Forte's face.
Well, we get the benefit of the second look.
Let's just agree that officiating over the years has sucked. And so I was like, that, right? I'm going to do what I have to do to bring attention to improving the officiating.
Kinda gotta agree with you, Mark, which brings up my next point. Mark Cuban has been the most outspoken owner in NBA history. He's been hit with many fines over his criticism over the referees. His most expensive one was $600,000. He got fined $500,000 for this comment. So they call a goaltend. They literally blew a whistle that it was a goaltend. There was a putback after the whistle. After review, they said no goaltend, but count the basket? What the F is that? That's NBA officiating? In total, he's paid the league over $3 million in fines.
There was a time where Danny Crawford was 1 in 15 when he was refereeing the Dallas Mavericks games. There were times where I knew, Crawford was going to stick it to a certain team because he had problems with them.
The last thing I'm going to point out is that there has already been a referee, Tim Donaghy, who has admitted to betting large amounts of money on his own games. Although he has never admitted to fixing those games, how are we expected to believe that Donaghy was never swayed to blow a whistle for his own benefit?
What we did was we logged all of the calls that he made and his co-refs, during the season, and then you kind of study it for patterns. And we ran several statistical analyses that showed, there's something there. There's a significant signal in the noise that he was favoring teams that he was betting on.
Even if he had the fullest intention of not fixing the games, subconsciously he wants a certain team to win, and he would have been tilted into favoring one team and giving them the benefit of the doubt. So it is a safe assumption that the league was rigged while Tim Donaghy was in the league. Aside from that, Tim Donaghy also served time in prison for betting on his games. So what does this have to do with now? After hearing a lot of people say that without a doubt in their mind that the NBA is not rigged, how can anyone be so sure? If the league was once rigged, what's to say that it isn't rigged now? Maybe it's rigged by the league, or maybe there's another dirty ref betting on more games. All I'm saying is, it is a definite possibility, and it's pretty hard to deny that.
He recently told ESPN the magazine's Scott Eden that Donaghy's claims he'd never fixed a game never really flew with us. It's always been Scala's position, and the FBI's as well, that Donaghy's officiating was at least subconsciously tainted by his wagers. Scala also says that NBA executives were eager to move on from the investigation, telling his agents it's impossible to fix NBA games, that there are too many red flags that would be thrown up. But Scala says when someone tells you something's impossible, you know they're full of...
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button and give me a like as well.